And then out of nowhere, they're just like, dude, you're up. It's almost like when you were talking about the Bonesman, like this dude just got tapped. And like, oh yeah, you're up. Because those videos could have just stayed 20,000 views, nothing, no big deal, just fucking around.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I don't know. I know that during that Peterson RFK thing, he told a story about how he did a 3-week-long interview with Jake Tapper.
Who?
RFK Jr. And it was all...
Oh, Jake Tapper went to him. I thought you meant like fucking RFK interviewed Jake Tapper for some reason.
I think Jake Tapper went to RFK Jr.'s house for like 3 weeks.
Dude.
And they did like an intensive... Because like RFK Jr. was boys with Roger Ailes. So Roger Ailes ran Fox News.
Yeah.
Rupert Murdoch owns it though. So Roger Ailes is the dude. Everyone thought he was like a bad actor.
Is he like the dude who's allegedly in secession?
He's the guy that like turned Fox into like what it is today.
Okay.
Right? So fucking RFK Jr. does this like 3-week thing, and it was going to be about, I think it was going to be about like mercury and the vaccines and stuff.
Tapper was doing this shit.
Tapper was doing this shit. So they did this thing. They put it together. They worked on it for 3 weeks. Then Roger Ailes tells RFK Jr. it's done. Jake Tapper says this never happened to him his entire life, and he's pissed off. Jake Tapper never talked to RFK Jr. again.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He's never talked to him again.
Tapper's like the high pitch, right?
So Roger Ailes tells him that, dude, you can, if you talk about this stuff, if one of my anchors lets you talk about this, I have to fire them. And he's like, Rupert will call me. Because all of the funding, 75%.
All fucking big pharma.
75% of the commercials are big pharma.
Yeah.
So all their revenue is coming from that. So Murdoch will call Ailes and be like, fire that person. Get rid of fucking RFK. So Jake Tapper's never talked to him since.
When was this?
I don't know. Maybe in like,
way back?
Maybe like 2015, something like that.
Holy fuck, bro.
Do you remember when it was like coming out? It was like Vaxxed. Remember the movie Vaxxed?
Yes.
And
Robert De Niro was supposed to have it at Tribeca Film Fest.
So all I'm saying is...
That fucking fag.
All I'm saying is, it's kind of weird. Like, RFK Jr., when he was a young kid, when he was like 19, he spent like, I think it was like 7 weeks or some shit with Roger Ailes in a tent in Africa. Like, RFK Jr. grew up, he's an elite.
Yes.
So he's like going on fucking weird shit like that. Doing like environmental work, whatever the fuck he's into, because he's a Kennedy.
What the
So
fuck?
Roger Ailes, like, so they go way back. So they, like, he was friends with him when he was such a young kid.
Yeah.
That Roger Ailes was like, he would put RFK Jr. on to talk about the environment whenever he wanted.
Obviously.
And then when it got into the vaccine stuff, so like his progression is like environmental work, mercury in the rivers, like runoff into the rivers. Then it's like mercury in the vaccines. And like mercury is more deadly than like anything radioactive.
Dude, I remember being terrified of thermometers.
Yeah, like mercury's like the most deadly fucking...
Thermometers.
Yeah, mercury's like the most deadly. It's like deadlier than lead.
Oh.
So
it looks crazy.
Yeah, so it's just what I think is like they get some shit on you. It's like if you're Jake Tapper.
Have to.
If you're Jake Tapper, if you're fucking Robert De Niro, there's forces at play that have your compromised manila folder.
Dude.
Your dossier.
Thought about it the other day. Like literally anytime you're out and you get drunk, it takes one blackout. It would be worth it for someone to watch you every time you went out to finally catch you blacked out and just be like, come here.
Yeah.
And then you're in pictures with 13-year-olds. You're fucked.
Yeah, well.
I'm going to stop drinking.
Tapper never talked to him again, which is fucking weird. That's the weird part.
Of RFK.
No, that's the weird part of Tapper. Like, that's the weird part of all this stuff is how they flip and then they never go back. Like, De Niro was like into this.
Oh, yeah. And
then he never went back.
And got like, very gay with Trump.
And he had compromising shit from the 90s.
True. What was the movie?
Ronin,
yeah. That's why, like, I love RFK, what's going on with him right now. But it's like when you fucking meet a chick and you're just like, this is too perfect. Something is fucked up here.
Yeah, right.
Something has to fucking go wrong. I remember myself 2020. I was welding a dumpster down in Chester. It got announced Biden won the presidency. literally fucking put everything down. I was like, I'm never voting again. I'm never falling for it. It does not fucking matter. I'm done with this shit.
Most of the things you get told are a lie, dude. It is what it is.
I mean,
we were talking about the Unabomber, and I was getting into all that shit, and fucking, you know that book Walden by Thoreau?
Negative. Louis
like,
Thoreau?
No, but that guy's documentary on Scientology rules.
Obviously.
Fucking
Who the fuck is Thoreau?
Thoreau wrote this book Walden,
You might be learning too much stuff.
where you can't. This is going to be bad because I have to work.
No,
you can't give me this much time.
You're weaponized.
So
there's a line in The Wire about giving you guys books.
there's this is why they didn't let him learn how to read.
Yeah.
Like Walden fucking is fake. Walden's his book. Like I think you kind of have to read it in college or something.
Yeah.
It's all
Watch
about
me.
It's all about some neat that goes out and lives in the woods and claims that he like lived in the woods for 2 years and like learned so much about himself or whatever. This like crazy life.
I feel it's the same shit with like fucking sense depth tanks. It's like you wind up just sitting there like,
well,
it's weird.
So he writes his book. He claims he lives out in like the wilderness for 2 years by a lake and by his lonesome. And
No sniz.
A year into it, he's already giving speeches about what he's up to. Dude, every weekend, his mom and his sister
Like Bear Grylls.
bringing him food.
Yeah.
He can walk to town. He lived this thing.
I mean, this is a hipster.
This thing in the wilderness. This thing in the wilderness is like a mile from a road. It's 2 miles from his mom's house, and it's like on a road. It's on like a highway, and he could walk into town. He would walk into town on the weekends. So he was just doing it 5 days a week, and
this is the first hipster.
he was going into fucking.
Forest all of a sudden got nice,
He was raiding his mom's house for pies and stuff.
as you do when
Yeah.
you're in the woods rummaging.
Crazy, man.
What the like?
So that's a lie. So this whole thing, because they would compare the Unabomber to fucking, they compared Ted Kaczynski to living
That
like a
dude?
Thoreau's life, like this thing. It's like, dude, no way. Ted was real.
I don't understand how like I don't know. I've never seen anything since, but they're saying he might have killed himself. It makes no sense that dude went that long and then was like, you know what, fucking, I'm pulling the trigger.
You never know.
I mean, dude.
I don't know how you can kill yourself in prison, but I've never been to prison.
I mean, Jeffrey Epstein did.
Yeah.
LOL. Yeah, I'd fucking. I think I'm just completely out, and the only thing we can do at this point, the only thing you can do is make your body better and try to be fucking nice to everyone, because anything you read, it's the only thing I've came down to is you read this shit and you get into like 4 whys, and on like the 4th or 5th why, everything starts falling apart. You start looking into it, and then you start thinking about how everything got here, and it's just a speed wobble.
And you're just sitting
out.
there and you're like, so there's these 2 towers. And somehow, just through the gravitational force, they're throwing steel beams 500 feet away.
It threw steel beams 500 feet away.
And regular people will be like, oh, that makes sense. But they can't really understand what it would take to throw a steel I-beam 500 feet, dude.
Dude, that's long as fuck.
Yeah, dude. A football field's 300 feet.
Yeah, but like, dude,
It pulverized concrete.
Yeah.
Gravity can't pulverize concrete.
it
It
doesn't
doesn't
make a lot of
create
sense.
a dust cloud.
It does not make a lot of sense. I mean,
This
all
is
that
the kind of
asbestos
shit
would.
that all I'm saying is that's the kind of shit I have. These books they're 800-page books. All right, man, you don't have to fucking paint today. Let's get down to the bottom of it. Then you hit me with caves, and I'm fucking gone. And then I'm like, oh no, I have to.
Sorry,
Now
caves are interesting.
Yeah, then I'm going back to the fairy tales.
Yes,
Then I'm just going back to the Grimm brothers. There's a fucking book.
but dude, maybe it's the people guiding us from above, where you're like, I'm going to figure out how 9/11 happened, and then they're like, hey, cunt, you have to go to the end of the caves to figure it all out first. You got to start at the foundation and work your way up to 9/11.
Dude, so I was checking out the fairy tales, and like I always thought it was just the Grimm brothers, right?
I never knew dick about this until you told me them. I thought all this stuff was just
Well, Disney
normal
like
shit.
Disney like takes these things, but I thought they were Grimm fairy tales, and they're not.
What?
There's a guy in France. I can't remember his name. It's like Charles Panal or something. Most of the stories come from France and Sicily in 1636.
Italians are saying that they're the ones who made them up.
Dude, in 1636, there's this dude Giambattista
Obviously,
Basile,
dude.
right? And he has this book that goes around. It's like he collected oral traditions in 1630s, and he was called it the Tale of Tales. And they renamed it something like the Decameron or the Pentameron or something in America because the actual name of it is Lo Canto de le Conti. Yeah.
I mean, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. But it's cool. It's like the real.
So the Grimm fairy tales aren't the Disney ones?
No, a lot of them come from these other stories, and they're all like, I'm sure you've heard this shit before. Like, actually, Sleeping Beauty got raped.
No, I don't know shit about the Grimm fairy tales.
So like what it was. So what they think it was
real sickos writing this shit.
They think it was like we treat children like they're a separate fucking species at this point.
Yeah.
But back in the day, a kid would just be a small adult that lived in a house with you.
I dream of having a child just so I can talk to them normal their whole child life.
And they couldn't so these stories that you're hearing that are the fairy tales, they were probably like bar tales, like stories that you would tell. Yeah. Like a traveling bard would say, or like you would go to a bar and be drinking and some dude would tell you.
Sitting around a campfire, like he's got a good one.
Yeah, like Goldilocks. You know Goldilocks? Yep. Goldilocks is actually just supposed to be some old beet roast. Oh. And the three bears in Goldilocks are just supposed to be drunk dudes at a bar. Oh. Whoa. And fucking, so Sleeping Beauty gets raped and has 2 kids while she's asleep. And then one of them bites her nipple trying to feed, and then she wakes up. Yeah, she wakes up, yeah.
That's Sleeping Beauty.
Well, then the king comes back because he's like, dude, I remember I fucking raped some chick back there. Let's see what's up. And he meets his family, and he's like, fuck.
I got to kill that night.
And he's like, dude, fuck my queen. You're my queen. The Sleeping Beauty doesn't even know there's a queen. Doesn't even know this dude's the king.
She's a dumb bitch.
Then that queen finds out about it, and then she tries to make the king. The king's eating a meat pie. Pause, and he's like, and she's like, that's yours. That's like your own meat or whatever, some shit like that. And he's like, yeah, damn, this is good.
Fuck right, it's my pie.
She told the chef to cook the kids into the mince pies.
Oh, fuck.
Like the Sleeping Beauty's drug. This isn't the Disney movie.
Holy fuck.
But these guys that collected these tales, like this is what they were telling the kids when they were little back in the 1600s.
No wonder fucking George Washington became a surveyor at like 15, bro, hearing some scary shit.
Yeah, you would have had
like
like a way more rugged lifestyle, like watching your dad basically like drunk rape your mom, shit like that. Like the abuse,
everyone's
the
dumb as shit.
Everything's dirty. People are dying of disease like constantly.
Yeah, like, I mean, they would champ losing a son.
Oh, dude, many sons.
No better help in sight.
Your wife was always pregnant too. So these chicks were always pregnant, dude.
That would... All I think about when I think about back then is just what the fuck that smelled like.
Yeah, I think about
that had to have reeked, dude.
Yeah, and they were all they were all the writers and shit were obsessed with sex.
Obviously.
And fucking Shakespeare was obsessed with sex. And I found out, Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah.
You know that song where it's the baubles and we were talking about the baubles?
The Outlaw?
Yeah, it's
The Outlaws.
No, fucking
Highwayman.
Highwayman.
I'm sorry.
And a bauble is actually a head on a stick, right? That like little girls would have. It's just a head.
Oh, like a doll.
This is where we get bobbleheads.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Many a young maiden lost her baubles to my claim.
So allegedly in Romeo and Juliet, there's all these like innuendo jokes. In Shakespeare, there's all this innuendo stuff, and like a bauble would be like a dick, like a head with a stick. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How the fuck did you get into all this?
You can't give me a day. This is literally one day of me chilling. This was the first day that I got done when I didn't have to work. I sat down and just fucking tried to get into stuff. But this is gonna fuck our podcast up. This is gonna fuck everything up.
But it is. You're like could watch.
I got into art. I got into Goya because I haven't looked into this shit in forever.
Like the beans.
Yeah, so Goya was this fucking... I love Goya.
Before we go anywhere.
Yeah, sorry, man. I should shut up.
No, you're good. What you have to understand is I could watch with my eyes taped open the same video 5 times and not be able to fucking regurgitate what the fuck happened there. Like you've just done scratching your balls and reading.
Yeah, but I mean, reading's different.
Dude, when I read, I just lose the paragraph and I start thinking.
Yeah, but
I'm gone.
You just gotta reverse it. That might also be bicameral mind shit, dude. You might have to learn how to speed read.
Dude, you know what I was doing that was fucking crazy the other night before we get into Goya? I fucking woke up and I was like, I'm going back to sleep. And I was asleep and I was like trying to go back to sleep. And I was like, I'm going to start dreaming. And I kept moving my eyeballs, trying to go like up towards my brain. and I would see the flickering of a dream, and then it would go back away because my eyeballs would go back down. Then I would raise them back up. It doesn't matter. Continue. Go ahead.
Dude, there might be a future where people like you could give people like me through something like Vision Pro.
Like that Black Mirror.
The experience of fuck Black Mirror, dude. I tried to
show.
watch the Black. Yeah, you do love that show.
So woke.
So
Everything's woke now.
Yeah, dude, I watched that shit sucked, dude.
Dude,
shit fucking
it's not
sucked.
the writing rooms of old, and you know this. It's girls.
I think
girls
you're
make Black Mirror. Show me the whole fucking writing screen or the writing crew. I guarantee you, 90% girls, maybe 2 white guys.
That was a sad.
We think of the sickest shit, dude. Is what it is.
Yeah, but imagine if I could put on like a Vision Pro and experience like whatever these fucking crazy dreams you have are.
It was weird.
Yeah, like I can't. If I'm doing it, I don't remember any of it.
I was teetering off, but I couldn't fully go into the dream. And I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna wake up."
Yeah.
But go ahead, please.
Oh yeah, well, fucking, he was like a regular. So there's this whole thing back in the day where you would be picked up by the Royals to be a portrait painter. That was like what you could become.
That was you're fully ascended if you're.
You're not even fully ascended. You're not even one of the masters.
Oh fuck.
You might attempt to be one, but you could just be a court painter. Now you're getting paid.
It's like an apprenticeship.
Not an apprentice, like you're past apprentice. Mm-hmm. This would be like intermediate barbell. Like you've won
Calm the fuck down.
You've won a contest.
I get what you're saying.
You're not a novice.
I get that.
You've won before.
Just continue.
So Goya was like an average dude. He was good as shit at fucking doing it.
Yeah.
But then he went deaf and got paranoid.
What?
Dude,
I would.
Then he starts doing the black paintings. He starts doing this crazy shit. Gets real political. Starts doing like political satires. Like
Hilarious.
He goes off the deep end.
What year is this?
I don't know.
Chuck it out there.
I can't remember, but
Based off the vibe.
I want to say it was the late 1700s, early 1800s.
All right, no one's wrong here.
He gets fucked up by the Napoleonic Wars.
Okay.
So he like says like he gets pissed about the Napoleon Wars. And he starts painting like this fucking insane shit.
What are like?
And so they blamed it on
them up. Continue talking.
They blamed it on lead poisoning. Well, they blamed it on syphilis. They tried to do all this shit on
But
it.
there was lead in the cups.
But they make their own paint back then, and when you're making like the old like Kremnitz white, all of these old whites are lead based. So you're grinding up lead constantly.
They grind it up?
Yeah, man. Lead paint. White is like lead. Like when you want the real white.
Oh, bro, he does the Kronos painting?
Yeah.
Was this when he was deaf?
Yeah, so he was deaf and he got real.
What the fuck, bro?
So, dude, he ascends. Just imagine this. Back in the day, like, this would have been like a celebrity job.
Why are all his paintings of eating kids?
No, I mean, you're just looking at, like, the one version.
Oh.
Yeah. Saturn devouring his kids is a common painting of multiple artists.
Oh, for some reason, just went right to that when I searched Goya.
Yeah, Goya did. Yeah, Goya was a beast with that one.
Dude, imagine, like, everyone's just going around. Like, people don't even understand full colors yet. And this dude's like, this is what's in my head.
Yep.
And everyone's like, dude, what the fuck?
Dude, he's got, like, lithograph. He's got cool, like, lithographs and drawings and stuff. The drawings are cooler.
What are lithographs?
They're like prints. You draw on a stone and then you etch it.
Yes, this guy's on drugs.
Yeah, well, what happened was, so he was a regular-ass dude. Just a hardworking painter.
Yeah.
And they don't know if it's like lead accumulation or syphilis or whatever.
Likes goats, bro.
But he ascends to the higher levels where now he's chilling with the elites. But he's deaf. So he's fucking paranoid as fuck.
Dude, I would lose my fucking mind.
Yeah, dude.
But, like, did they know
They
why?
have all these ways to make paint. Like, when you're like, they didn't go to the store. They had to make their own shit. So they would get minerals and all this stuff like cadmium red, the yellows. They're all like real bad chemicals. Like Vincent Van Gogh.
So they're like the OG painters. Out here, like, dude, paint oil fucking blows. Like, this shit sucks.
They had to make their own juice, dude, before they even started. So
That's wild.
if you were like an apprentice, you were just making paint.
Yeah, so you're
Like, so-
fucking fully gone.
Back in the old days, in the painters' rooms of old, there would be
OG painters.
there would be a team of dudes that would just be like whipping up linseed oils and whipping up fucking pigments. But those guys got bodied by all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you want to be a forger, you have to know how to do it.
What's a forger?
A forger is like a guy that will make up. Like there was a dude who was I'm trying to remember where this guy was from. Denmark, or no, Holland. So Holland is where the Dutch masters are.
Right.
Right.
The good fine paints of Europe.
These are the
Hollandic.
The Dutch are the guys that invented oil painting. So like if you're a young Dutch painter, you want to become a master.
Obviously.
And there was this one dude, his name's like Van Meergen or something, and he was almost good. And he had a show, and all the critics were like, "You suck." Oh. Right? So he fucking loses his shit, pissed off. Now he's spurred on by vengeance for the rest of his days.
Obviously.
He goes to the French Riviera and he becomes
villain arc.
Yeah, so his villain arc begins. And he goes to the French Riviera to do portrait painting, because that's how you get paid.
Yeah.
You get rich people and you make them look good. So, but while he's doing this, he's like, fuck them. I'm going to make Vermeers. I'm going to make a Vermeer. Vermeer is a famous Dutch. He's the Dutch master of old.
Okay, so he's
Right?
going to make their Vermeer.
So he's going to copy one. He's going to make one that they think they found a Vermeer. Right?
It's a trap.
But it'll be him, you know? And then he'll unveil as the villain.
Oh, what a cocksucker.
He'll come out and be like, actually, it's me. I'm a master.
This is Ashton Kutcher's great-great-great-grandfather.
So what happens is none of this pans out.
Fuck.
Right? But Van Meergen does find a buyer for this painting. And he claims it's a Vermeer. And it's we're in 1937 Europe.
Okay.
So
tell me this gets to Hitler.
So there's this guy, Hermann Goering.
Dude,
and
fuck.
Goering fucking says, give me that Vermeer. I'll give you all these paintings from the folk, from the Germans.
Wow.
So he trades one of his forgeries for 170 something paintings from Goering.
Yes.
Right? He buys nightclubs, buys fucking real estate. He's balling. So from like 37 to 45, this guy's living like a king.
Yes.
Because the Nazis hooked him up. Well, the Nazis lost. And that dude was a collaborator.
Oh.
Right? So
oh, fuck, dude.
So the Dutch are like, fuck you, dude. You took one of our Vermeers and you sold it to the Nazis. So now the villain arc is back on. Right?
So this guy's just fucking like, yes.
Villain arc's back on.
You idiots.
And he goes, yes. That's not a Vermeer. That's one of mine. And they go, bullshit. Let me see you do it. So the mainstream media of the time, the newspapers are like, love this headline. The man's painting for his life. So this trial, so he's, first of all, while he was a nightclub dude, he became a morphine addict.
Damn.
So he needs morphine to get through the day.
Holy fuck.
So
what a mess.
So dude, he's locked up. But dude, this is pure villain arc shit.
Yeah.
He's locked up. The guards have to give him a small dose of morphine so he can get through the day. And his trial was him painting. They wanted him to copy a Vermeer, and he said, fuck that. I'll paint a new painting that you think is a Vermeer. And they gave him his paints and they gave him his morphine, and he painted to prove that he wasn't a Nazi collaborator, that he tricked Goering, right? All this shit. And he ends up doing a year for being a forger, but he does not get busted for being a Nazi collaborator.
Jesus, that's awesome. Does he
Yeah.
get to keep
Finding like lapis lazuli and like all these weird old minerals to grind up. And he would buy old paintings, like shit paintings from like the Middle Ages,
touch them up
so he could have the canvas that would prove that it was that old. So there's a dude like
and
Rembrandt,
forge them. Oh fuck.
yeah,
that's
like
insane.
Rembrandt. Like there's dudes, like there's paintings, there's guys, the old masters that are, the paintings are so simple. All you got to do is get the paints. There was only like 6 colors.
Get a canvas old enough.
Get the canvas old enough, and you can do this. You could make, so a lot of, they said like there might only be 27 Rembrandts and all the rest of them are forges.
Who was the one
And
that
also,
like had a
too,
school that like
all of them? Titian had a school, Rembrandt had a school. So also all of the young apprentices, they wanted to get paid. So when they come up, they're not going to use their own name.
Obviously.
And this was like a custom. So like this wasn't like, we call them forgeries now, but back then it was totally cool to be like, yeah, I'm from Team Rembrandt.
Yeah.
Rembrandt.
Rembrandt or die,
Yeah,
bitch. There's
Exactly. Kind of like the modern day jiu-jitsu schools.
true.
You're like, I'm a Gracie, whatever.
Yeah, it makes fucking it is insane the amount of money for like that paint or like the paintings and all that shit bring in. Never made sense to me, never will.
Well, I mean,
Like-
Hunter thought it would save him.
But dude, did you see he got charged?
Yes.
Little shit. He got
segue into another subject. I'm
bro.
getting better at this.
God damn it. Yeah, they did all this shit while they're fucking indicting Trump, dude. It doesn't make any sense. Hunter did everything wrong and they indicted Trump. Like, dude.